Welcome back to another episode on News Portal in Laravel. In this video, we'll create model and migration file for the news posts via Laravel Composer that will create a database table for us. We'll also create methods for controllers to work on the view files to insert, update and delete post data in Laravel. But before that, please hit the like button and subscribe us to let us know you are here. So, without wasting time, let's get started. So, in this lesson, we'll create a database table to store the news posts that we want to show on our front-end templates. We'll add news posts related to each of those categories. If you remember, we have already added the categories for the news posts into our database in our second lesson. We worked on the website general settings on our previous lesson. We have also got the side menu item to display the posts as well as add new posts. Let's click on the add new link and see what happens. Well, the menu item is linked to an HTML file and there's no route defined. Let's redefine the post HTML file as Laravel blade file. Let's remove the header and footer content, extend backend master blade from the file, and keep the contents in the section content as we did in our previous template files. We'll keep the CKEditor link and script intact here. That will give us the opportunity to format text in our posts via backend. Redefine the CKEditor JS link. Redefine the add post URI in the master blade side menu. Let's say it's add post. Add the route in web.php to load the add post blade. Let's send it to admin controller add post method. Add the method in admin controller and return the backend add post view blade. Let's load it in the browser then, and you can see the add post template loaded. You have got the title, description and category fields here. Let's add one more field named slug. We'll need that here. Let's open public JS scripts.js. Here you can see the jQuery to automatize the slug. Let's duplicate it and redefine the title ID to add slug automatically. Let's say the ID is post title. Go back to the add post blade and add that ID to the title input field. Let's duplicate the title field and rename it as slug. The ID will be slug2. Let's rename the placeholder to. Let's review the text area then. The CK editor is activated here. Let's check the image upload here. Click on the picture icon. Let's see where the file is going to be stored. Well, here's an error. The CKFinder file is missing. That happens when the link for the CKFinder file is not correct in the script. Let's review the script then. It says one directory back from the backend view folder inside the editor. Let's define the path as public and then CK editor. Let's check the file first if that's where it is. Oops, we don't have that in our project. I'll copy it from another project, alright. Let's paste it in the root directory of the project. You can find the files in the description below. I'm using CKEditor 3, but you can use the latest version too. You'll need to go through the documentation to use the latest version though. Let's update the link then. We'll remove this because we have got CKFinder at the root of the project, right? Refresh the browser and check the server location. Well, that's done then. You can see the test image from the CKFinder. If you check your project, it's inside the CKFinder user files images directory. One more thing you'll need to do is update the config.php file from the CKFinder. Let's open it and update the base URL. That is the root URL of the project. That will get the URL of the images if added via text area sorted. Let's copy an image from desktop and paste it inside the CKFinder user files images folder just to make sure it is the same location. Let's refresh the add post blade and check the server. And you can see the image we just added. So that's fixed then. You can work on the word count if you want. To keep it simple, let's display the categories from database on the category section here. Let's go to the admin controller and add query to fetch all categories from the categories table. Let's say $categories equals db table categories get categories $categories. Then we can run the for each loop here. For each $categories as $cat. Let's keep only one input field and remove the rest. Info each. Let's send the category ID as value and display title as the text. You can change the label value and ID too if you want, but that's not needed. Let's remove the checked attribute as well because we don't want all of those categories checked by default. Refresh the browser and you can see the categories listed here. The publish button is already there as well as the save as draft button. We'll assign separate status values to each of them. Let's work on the featured image part and make it display the selected image using JavaScript. We did it in our settings blade, right? So let's open the settings blade, copy the script and paste it in the footer of the add post blade. Then copy the HTML content and replace the image input HTML content in add post blade with that one. Refresh the browser. Well, it doesn't look nice, but let's add the image first. Well, the script works fine. Let's remove the button class from the label. We have got two buttons here and both can submit the form. Let's add name to these buttons. Let's say this one is draft and this one is published for now. Now let's open the terminal and add a model and migration file for the post data. PHP artisan make model post -m. Open the post model and define the table name and primary key. Let's say the key is PID. Open the database migration file and update the primary key. Then we can add columns, title, slug, description will be long text. We'll need the category column too. Let's say CID. We'll need the image column as well and the status column. Let's make it category ID instead of CID. Migrate the table and you're done. Check your database and you can see the table and the structure. One more thing while creating database table columns, if you didn't define default value for any of the columns, Laravel won't allow you to insert data into that table without a value. In this table, I would like to make the default value for the image column null. You can do that by going to your migration file and adding nullable. You'll need to roll back the migration process and migrate the file again. But let's do it in an easier way. Go to your database table structure and click on change. And you can set the default value from here too. Now you can see the default value set to null here, and this helps when you need to add posts without any featured image. Alright, let's define the form action URL then. Let's say add post, and you know you need to add int type multipart form data whenever you are trying to input file, right? Let's define the category field as array, and we made it category ID in the database, right? We can work without the ID here. We forgot to add CSRF field on the form. Let's add that. We haven't added the table name too in this form. Let's do that too. Let's give the buttons a common name, status, with separate values draft and publish respectively. Let's open web.php and add route to insert news post, route, post, add post, CRUD controller at insert data. Refresh the browser and let's try to add some data. Let's click on publish and you can see the array to string conversion error. You know where it came from, right? That's the category ID field. Let's check that in our CRUD controller, just like we did for social field for the settings table. We'll do the same thing for category ID too. Just convert them to a string with a comma. resubmit the form, and you're done. We haven't added the session message in our blade, so no message is showing up. Let's check the database. And you can see the data here with the status set as published. If you check your project directory, you'll see the post folder created inside the public folder, and that will store all the featured images uploaded via post from. Alright, let's copy the same if clause in the update method too. Let's copy the session message from one of the previous template. Let's place it over here. Refresh the post form and add another post. This time, let's add an image in the text area too. You can upload new images from here, but I'll use the existing one. Let's define the image width in percentage to keep it responsive. And when working with percentage and width, leave the height empty so that the browser itself can define the appropriate height for the image. You can also define alternative text for the image here. Hit OK and you can see the image in your text area. View the text area source code and you can see the width and alt attributes we defined earlier. Let's set the featured image too. And this time let's click on draft to submit the form. So the data is added to the database table. Let's check it out and you can see the status appears as draft in this case. Let's place the post-blade files in a separate folder. Let's say posts. Update your admin controller, add post method, and you're good to go. Now let's work on the database table to show posts in the backend. We have got the sidebar navigation item already here, which is linked to an HTML file. Let's change the view table HTML file to Laravel blade template first. And extend backend master blade from this template. Then let's update the link to view all posts in our backend master blade. Let's say all posts. Define the route in web.php. Let's say the method is all posts. Let's add the method in admin controller then. Since we'll have a huge number of data in this table, let's run paginate instead of get here, and this will give us the pagination. Return the backend all post template view here. Click on the all post links, and you can see the template loaded. Let's use Laravel pagination here. We have only 2 posts as of now, so let's change the data count in each page to 1 so that we can see the pagination. Refresh the browser, and you can see the pagination. Let's remove the table contents and display the post data from database then. Let's check the data count first. If there's no data, we'll show some message to the user. Let's say no posts found. We can add the pagination on top too. Let's run the for each loop here. This will be title. This will be category. This will be status. And let's say this will be date. So let's remove the author and add status on the table heading. We have category ID, right? Let's display it as it is first. Refresh the browser and you can see the data displayed. Let's change the page nation value to 20 then. And you can see both data in the same table with the title, category ID, status and created date listed. Let's change the category ID to category title then. Let's run the for each loop for the posts here. Let's convert the category ID string into array. Run the for each loop again for the category IDs array. Run db query to retrieve the title value of each category on the basis of ID. Let's print the data and see if it works. Well, that works fine. Let's move the exit outside the loop. And you can see all categories are printed here. Let's input the values once again and join the category titles. And set it back to category ID. We are simply trying to convert the category IDs into category title here. Here the array operator is not supported. Let's store the array data in another variable then. That will be inside the for each loop, right? Let's set the post categories array empty after the loop and add a space after the comma. Refresh the browser and you can see the category titles here instead of the IDs. Let's work on the delete part then. To keep things simple, we'll remove the other filters. We'll do everything exactly the same as we did in other templates for the delete functionality. The URL will be multiple delete. We'll add the CSRF field, send the table name hidden, and the table ID too. Add the values to the bulk action options. Add the session message. Change the checkbox name to select data. This must be array, right? Refresh the browser and try to delete the data. Well, you can see the data is deleted then. Now we can work on the update part. Let's add the link to update the post data. Let's say this is edit post and we'll send the post ID to. Refresh the browser and click on the link. You can see there's no such route defined. Let's define the route then. Let's send it to admin controller at edit post. Add the method in admin controller and return the edit post blade with the first data from the post table that matches the post ID. We don't have edit blade for the post. Let's save the add post blade as edit blade. We'll need the category data too in the post form, right? Let's add that in the edit post method. Refresh the browser and you can see the edit template loaded. Let's change the form action URL to, let's say, update post. We'll need to send the data ID via form, right? Let's display the title, slug, and description from the database then. We know how to display the image, right? Refresh the browser and you can see the title, slug, description text and the feature image from the selected data here. Let's work on the category then. All we need to do is store the category IDs as array in a variable, let's say postcat. And then check the ID using inArray function. If the ID is in the postcat array, then keep it checked, else keep it unchecked. Refresh the browser and you can see the selected category is checked on the categories list. Update the route to edit the post data. That will be CRUD controller update data method, right? We have already updated that method to facilitate the post update action. Let's try to make some changes and submit the form. And you can see the data is updated. Now you can go on to add a couple of news posts into each categories to display them in the front end. Alright, for the featured section on the top, I'll add a new category named featured so that I could add dedicated posts for that section. Well, that's all for today. Get back to me after adding at least 5 posts on each categories. Thanks for watching and please subscribe our channel for more videos. Thank you.